All right, so we're going to go ahead and kick off the showcase. I want to welcome everyone here to the Spring 2020 Solutioneer Showcase. And this is a very special showcase because not only is this Earth Month, but yesterday was the 50th Earth Day. So we want to thank you guys for celebrating that with us. And before I say anything else, I just want to say something about the pandemic that's going on. And we know this is a difficult time for a lot of you, and we're all in this struggle together. But we truly want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your days to be here with us and celebrate this. So before we go further, I kind of want to talk about some of the features that Zoom has that we'll be using. For starters, if you look on the bottom left side of your screen, you'll see a microphone and a little camera icon there. And that is how you mute and unmute yourself. However, we do ask that you guys keep yourselves muted throughout this presentation, just so it cuts down on the background noise and things like that. And then there is the video. So whether you want to share your screen or not, that's how you do that. You can just toggle on and off there. There's also a chat box towards the middle of the screen. We're going to have questions for those of you who have been to our showcase in the past. You know that we like to be very interactive, and even though this is an online format, we didn't want to lose that interaction. So if you have any questions, we'll have designated times when you can type your questions in the chat box, and then we'll get them answered there. And then also on the bottom right, there's also a leave meeting option. If for whatever reason you do have to leave during this, that's the button that you will use to do so. However, we hope that you get to stay till the end, because if you do stay till the end, we have a sustainability merchandise raffle that's being put on courtesy of Green Estate. So the way to get entered into that is just to stay till the very end, and then we'll choose a winner from there. And so also, we will send out a document with our foundation members and our students' LinkedIns. We'll be sending that in the chat, so keep an eye on that and connect with as many people as you can. And if you, as I mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. And go ahead and click to the next screen. So we're going to start off by introducing the leadership team here, starting off with myself. For the introductions, I'm going to ask everyone to state their name, title, their major, and something that's getting them through this quarantine. So I'll start with myself. My name's Eddie. I am the chapter president. I'm majoring in sustainability with a minor in urban planning. And something that's getting me through this quarantine is subscription services, things like Netflix, Hulu. I've seen about half of the catalog on Netflix now, so that's one thing that's keeping me through this quarantine.
Hi guys, my name is Chloe. I'm VP of Communications. I'm currently majoring in Business Sustainability and Supply Chain Management, and I've been getting through the quarantine by doing Zoom movie dates with my boyfriend.
Hi, I'm Kyle McCormick. I'm a sophomore here at ASU. I'm also studying Supply Chain Management, Business Sustainability. I'm getting through the quarantine by getting a dog, so if I'm not doing homework, I'm doing potty training. So that's how I'm spending my time.
Hi, my name is Hannah Eastwood. I'm the VP of Network Engagement. I'm majoring in sustainability with a minor in Spanish, and I'm getting through this quarantine by training my puppy for service work.
Hi, my name is Casey. I am VP of Projects. I am majoring in sustainability with a focus in urban dynamics, and I'm getting through this quarantine by going on weekend hikes with my dogs.
Hi, my name is Samantha Rosales. I am the VP of Professional Development. I am double majoring in Sustainability and Supply Chain Management. Something that I've been doing to get me through quarantine is reading all the books I have here stored up, so almost getting through them.
Eddie, you're muted.
Sorry about that, guys. I want to give a quick introduction to our Solutioneers. And typically, we would have you guys give a round of applause, but because this is virtual, on the bottom right of your Zoom, you should see a button there with a smiley face as well as a little plus icon at the top of it. And if you click on that, you'll see there is a clap emoji or a thumbs up emoji. So at this time, just out of respect and out of courtesy for all our Solutioneers, let's go ahead and give them a clap emoji, and that'll substitute as our quarantine approved round of applause. Okay, and then we also want to give a quick shout out to the interns, not just because I'm one of them, but so you have myself and Hannah as the communications and marketing interns, as well as our own Chloe and Feyruz, who are the internal development interns. And we've all been working really hard to do what we can for GreenLight, and we appreciate the opportunity that GreenLight has given us, not only to be a part of the organization, but to intern with them. So thank you guys. And also want to give thanks to our faculty advisors. We have Megan Herrick, who is the events coordinator at the Julie Ann Wrigley Global Institute of Sustainability. And we also have Paul Prosser, who is the instructor, an instructor and a senior sustainability scientist at the School of Sustainability. And they've been a big help, so we really appreciate them as well. Okay, and although our Solutioneers are our showstoppers, they're the reason we do this, the board of directors and the finance committee make it all happen in the background. So we really couldn't do what we do without them. So we want to make sure that we give them thanks as well. And starting off with the mission, I'm going to read off the mission here. So the mission of GreenLight Solutions Foundation is to educate and empower students and business leaders to create positive social, environmental, and economic change through sustainability initiatives. So I want to start off by introducing Kevin Kelleher, who is the co-founder and executive director of GreenLight. We have Ryan Moores, who is a fellow co-founder and operations director, along with Nate Gassman, who is the third co-founder and senior board member. We also have Ashley Weissman, who is a program development director, and we all work directly with Ashley. She's been a big help with us this semester, as she is with every semester. So another big thanks to Ashley. We also have Fabian Horta, who is the network engagement director board. We have Mike Schoon, who's a board member and a faculty advisor. However, he is on sabbatical right now, so we have some people stepping in for him, as well as Miguel Ortega, who is on the finance committee and a GreenLight alum, as well as everyone on the board has gone through the same program that all the Solutioneers have gone through. So they all know, they've all been in our shoes and they know what we're going through. So, and we really appreciate all the help that they do to make everything possible.
Something else that I wanted to mention that is a really cool feature on Zoom is to change your settings to active speaker mode. In the top of your computer screen, there should be a little box that says speaker view or gallery view, and you can change that to speaker view. It'll be a little bit easier, especially as we get rolling, get talking. We have a lot of people attending, which is fantastic. We are so happy about that. But that way, the Solutioneers who are presenting will actually pop to the top of your screen. So that way you don't have to keep shuffling around trying to find them. So if everyone wants to switch that setting to speaker view, it might be a little bit easier for you guys. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about our sustainability inspired stuff. Everyone says, if you could go back in time and change one thing, what would you change? But they don't really think about how they can change one thing right now so that it can impact their future and make their future better. This has to be our most sustainable showcase yet. We have no transportation emissions, no food waste, and no waste at all. Everything is completely virtual, which is a really big step for GreenLight. We're trying to make the most out of this situation that we can, and it's really turning out to be very good for us to get this experience in. So I'm going to turn it over to our board of directors to talk a little bit more about what GreenLight is and where we started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nathan Gassman. I'm a member of the foundation team, and I want to first express my sincere gratitude to everyone for joining our virtual showcase during what is such a challenging time for a lot of people. Hopefully everyone is really filled with inspiration tonight and hope this evening as well. So GreenLight recently celebrated our 7th anniversary this past January, and I've been fortunate to be a part of almost all of it. And I'm really excited to be engaging with so many current and future Solutioneers on this call tonight. I'm really here just to introduce the foundation team, talk a little bit about what we do, the board generally. We work very hard volunteering our time to make this organization what it is. We all work full-time jobs, and we choose to engage with GreenLight because we really believe in the mission. Every one of our board members has been involved with GreenLight in some way, shape, or form for quite a while. Everybody is an alumni or has been with the organization since it started, just like was mentioned earlier. But that means we understand the value of GreenLight for students, for the community, for businesses, for university, and we're really passionate about continuing to create that opportunity for more students, businesses, communities, and universities. So we're in a very exciting time for GreenLight, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about that as the night goes on. But really want to talk about where we started for just a minute. So as I mentioned, GreenLight started in 2013. The foundation was started in 2015. And that happened when a couple of us co-founders graduated from ASU and participated in the Seed Spot Social Entrepreneurship Business Incubator Program. It's a mouthful, but it was an awesome experience. The outcome of that was we created a 501c3 nonprofit, and that's the foundation. We exist to provide the mentorship and support for the students, really to be there to make sure that everything is successful from chapter to the projects. We do a lot of grant writing, nonprofit development, things of that nature. So we really want each of the students involved in this, the chapter this semester to have a great experience. We're really excited to see the work that's being showcased tonight. And with that, I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Ashley.
So what does GreenLight look like from the student experience? First of all, I encourage you to ask the students themselves, but in summary, even with their busy schedules, the students commit 5 hours a week on average to their projects. They have Solutioneering 101 training at the beginning of the semester, and then project leads and leadership team members have additional trainings. Then the students get GreenLight swag bags, weekly project meetings, and of course, we have our retreat every semester at Arcosanti. So that's an awesome chance for the board of directors and the students to collaborate on their projects. Now I will give it over to Ryan to talk about our process.
Thanks, Ashley. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. So I'm Ryan, co-founder and operations director. I just want to briefly mention about our project process. Our 6-phase project process is called the GreenLight Guidelines, and it takes students through an entire project from ideation all the way to implementation, and it teaches students valuable project management best practices that they can take into their careers. Each project comes up with their own KPIs, those key performance indicators, progress tracking methodology, and aligns their impact with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And you'll hear more details about these during each project's presentation. And I'm going to kick it back to Ashley to talk about some of our programs.
So basically for the last 7 years, we've done a lot of student-led projects, but we kept getting requests from the businesses and professionals that we've been working with that they wanted sustainability education too. So this led to our new program suite. So we have 3 different phases of sustainability education that we offer to businesses and students. So and these phases are really meant to meet a business from where they're at in their sustainability journey. So first we have our phase 1 Learn program. So this is maybe your business just needs the sustainability education. You want that employee engagement opportunity. It's a great lunch and learn. And you just need that buy-in from the people, from your people at your company. So that would be our phase 1. Phase 2 is for businesses that understand sustainability, but now they need to know what to do. They want to learn, how do we create that strategic sustainability roadmap for our business? So we co-create that together in our strategy workshops. And then our phase 3 is for implement. So these are for the businesses that have their sustainability goals. They know what they want to do. They just need a team to help them do it. So we have our volunteer student-led projects, which you'll learn about here today, and then also our professional Solutioneer certificate. So these programs are very similar. The difference is that professional Solutioneer certificate is where the professionals go through our GreenLight Guidelines project process. They learn these sustainability competencies and deliver the sustainability project. So again, if you're interested in any of our sustainability programs, please reach out to us. Now, Ryan will go on with one of our programs that are in the spotlight.
Thanks, Ashley. So we're super excited to offer this new educational series for professionals, our sustainability seminar series. This 3-part series is built for businesses and geared towards educating and empowering professionals to take sustainability action within their organization. The 3 seminars include the business case for sustainability, sustainability in your office, and aligning with the Sustainable Development Goals. Quick shout out, shameless ask, if you or anybody you know is interested in bringing our seminar series to your workplace, please reach out to Ashley or myself or visit our website to contact us. And a quick note, we do also offer this virtually, obviously, in these times. So we're able to do this online and with proper social distancing in place. And we'd be happy to come and teach your employees and your businesses about sustainability. And I'm going to send it over to Kevin to talk about some of our supporters.
Thanks, Ryan. So that seminar series we've just launched, and we've gotten some really good feedback on it. We recently presented it to caliber companies, you'll see here in the slide, and with great reviews. And we're excited to continue delivering that series to as many people as possible and help build business resiliency in these challenging times right now. Caliber also has helped support us in a number of ways in promotional partnerships and helping with our attendance in the Alliances where Entrepreneurs Align, which is a business networking group. Alliances has sponsored membership for GreenLight and is a great group for us to connect with and deliver our professional development programs. And LocalFi is another member of Alliances that has in-kind donated their services of they help to optimize your presence on Google. And so they're helping us to do that for GreenLight and get us some more exposure. And then we've received a a grant funded recently from Smart and Final, their foundation arm. And I want to give a big shout out to John Luther from Hands for Helping, who we hired as a grant writer and helped us get that grant funded. And we've submitted a dozen grants over the last 6 months, and we're working on more together. And we're looking forward to bringing more funding in for GreenLight from those. And we have funding coming in from our GreenLight Glow monthly donors. One of which I believe is Sean Soward, who's on with us tonight, who helped also get our website optimized and helped us get some really great rates for our web services and such. And our GreenLight Glow monthly donors are those people who support our mission on a monthly basis with as little as $5 or $10 a month, and sometimes more. Our average is $10 a month, and you can actually go to the next slide now. And we are 40% of our way to our goal of $555 a month. And the GreenLight Glow is one way you can get involved and help support GreenLight. With a $10 a month average, we just need 33 more donors to get to our goal of $555 a month. It would make a huge difference for us on a sustainable revenue perspective. Without even spending any additional money, any purchasing you do through Amazon, if you set up smile.amazon.com, Amazon will donate 1% of your purchase to GreenLight if you choose us as your sponsor organization. So that's another way that you can get involved and support us. We have a lot of different opportunities to get involved. Sometimes our hands-on service opportunities, volunteer days and experiences like that, which you will learn about if you sign up for our GreenLight Globe newsletter. Keep an eye out for that in your email inbox. Lots of exciting information on what our programs are like, what sort of volunteer opportunities you can get involved with, and updates on our different projects we have going on. So a lot of exciting information and usually some surprises in there too. We always highlight some Solutioneers and such in there, and sponsors and project partners. And then we have monthly community mixers. We've gone virtual with those right now. Our next one is a week from tonight, Thursday the 30th. We will be doing a virtual community mixer. Our first one last month went really well, and we'll be hosting them monthly, at least through the end of the month, and probably through the end of the semester, and probably through the summer. And we're hoping to get back to in-person this fall at Chop Shop on University in Tempe. We do have a couple of slots available still on our board of directors and on our finance committee. So if you are really passionate about the GreenLight movement and you think you might align with our work and have some time and or funds you can donate to the cause, contact one of the board members directly and we'll talk with you about whether it's the right fit. It could be a great opportunity for you to differentiate yourself as a sustainable business leader in the community. And we are going to be looking for some interns. We're probably taking on 1 or 2 more interns this summer, and definitely some more over the fall. We really appreciate our interns. They've helped us with a lot of organizational development, and that's another way that students or even non-students can get involved and participate in supporting the GreenLight movement. So I just want to thank you all for getting involved tonight and listening to the showcase and supporting our mission. And without further ado, listening to these amazing Solutioneers and the great projects they've worked on this semester. They're really impactful. And I'm going to pass it back to Hannah to introduce our keynote speaker.
Awesome. So this is Marsha Gonzaga. She is the Career Management Associate for the School of Sustainability, which basically means that she is responsible for advising sustainability students and alumni towards their career interests and to build university partnerships with employers. She is incredibly sweet, incredibly kind-hearted, and she's helped us a lot through this entire process. She received a Master of Counseling degree from ASU. And a little fun fact about her is that she was a student athlete and 3-time captain for the University of Oklahoma's women's golf team. So like I said, a really kind-hearted spirit. I have entirely enjoyed working with her this past semester. And without further ado, here's Marsha Gonzaga.
Thank you so much, Hannah. That was so kind. First of all, let me start by, can you hear me? We're good? Okay. So first of all, let me start by saying that I'm truly honored to be your keynote speaker for the Spring Solutioneer Showcase, and I love seeing so many familiar faces. Again, my name is Marsha. I serve as the career counselor for the School of Sustainability, so I advise undergraduate students, graduate students, alumni. I support employer relations, and I manage a career development course for undergraduate students. In the course I teach at ASU, I use the concept of chaos theory to explain how career planning can be a nonlinear path. Chaos theory helps us understand that too many variables in a complex system make it hard to predict the outcome. However, through the chaos, your systems will ultimately reveal an order. As you can understand, my role as a career counselor is definitely an interesting one during these uncertain times. Earlier this year, when I was asked to speak, I had a completely different message in mind. While we are ordered to stay in place here in the United States, along with almost 200 countries across the globe experiencing the coronavirus impact, your needs as an audience have changed. So, as I consider this unprecedented event of a global pandemic, I decided to pivot the message or pivot the purpose of my message for the generations participating in this showcase. My hope is that my message tonight aligns with those needs, but also extends beyond this COVID-19 experience. Knowing that GreenLight Solutions Foundation serves as a nonprofit that creates experiential learning opportunities through student-led projects, their goal is to recruit purpose-driven students and connect them with businesses to design, plan, and execute a sustainability project. Keeping this in mind, I would like to recruit each of you to plan, execute, to design, plan, and execute a project to help you find order in the chaos. It just so happens that the project is you. I came across a Julius Caesar quote that says, "No one is so brave that they are not disturbed by something unexpected." Therefore, I would like to offer a reframe for your role using it as an acronym, R.O.L.E, and how you can seize this day. The responsibilities among each of us are relative. So I share this sample bubble graph as a visual for you to consider what your responsibilities are. Note that you are central to this, which is why I encourage a practice of self-care. It is vital that you practice a routine of self-care so that you can operate optimally. It's similar to the instruction that we get before takeoff on an airplane. Place the oxygen mask on yourself first so that you can help others. I consider this part of self-care, whether it's daily meditation, working out, journaling, pedicures, massages, etc. Similar to responsibilities, self-care is relative. However, you must care for yourself first so that you can serve or care for others with intention, and be sure to approach this one day at a time. Be mindful that no response is a response as well, and it's a powerful one. As you consider your own responsibilities, please consider your own ability to respond to them. So I ask, are the systems you currently have in place serving you well? In the New York Times bestseller Atomic Habits by James Clear, he states, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." Take a personal audit of your habits. Are they serving you well? What types of systems do you have set up to support your success? I read James' Atomic Habits book towards the end of last year, which inspired me to create a realistic system of daily habits in 2020. When I say realistic, I must share that beyond working full-time, that I also am a wife and a mother of 3 children, ages 8 and under. It was too easy not to use the idea of 2020 vision. I asked myself, when thinking ahead 1 year, in January 2021, do I have more clarity? To gain that clarity, my system includes spending 20 minutes in the morning in prayer, as well as setting my intentions for the day through a journal by listing out 10 dreams I made happen. I also spend 20 minutes every evening doing yoga or meditation and writing out in that same journal 5 things that I'm grateful for that I experienced in the last 24 hours. I'll come back to the system in a little bit, but let's return to the R.O.L.E acronym. The O is opportunity. As we physically distance, there are so many unique opportunities to seize this day. We as humans are built for connection. So as we physically distance, we can still socially engage. Through phone calls or virtual platforms, we can continue to cultivate our network or even begin building new relationships. As a student, request an informational interview. Some of you have already done that through my class, by the way, but just reach out to an industry professional, not for a job, but out of genuine curiosity about what the professional does. Work on your LinkedIn. You can enhance your LinkedIn profile by creating an e-resume. If you're already presenting a project, defending a thesis or dissertation, or even sharing a how-to on your social media, then share that through your network. Even share this video through your network. Mentor. Especially if you're a business owner or practitioner, mentoring can be a growth opportunity, not just for the mentee, but also for the mentor. The impact can not only be positive, but also reciprocal. Dave Hollis is a former Disney executive, now turned author and motivational speaker, amongst other ventures, and he recently shared this quote, "In the rush to return to normal, use this time to consider which parts of normal are worth rushing back to." This is an opportune time to transition from a reactive attitude to a proactive perspective by prioritizing what you want your new normal to become. In response to what we're experiencing because of coronavirus, last month, Harvard Business Review published an article titled, "The Discomfort That You Are Feeling is Grief." In the article, grief expert David Kessler said, "Acceptance, as you might imagine, is where the power lies. We find control in acceptance. Whether you have 1 week, 3 weeks, or 5 weeks of staying in place, I encourage you to seize this stay by asking, on the other side of COVID-19, I wonder if you will grieve this time too." I believe most of us are overloaded with ways to learn something new. Here's a free trial for this workshop. You're invited to attend this class. I tag you to fill in the blank challenge. Yesterday, being Earth Day, I was reminded by my dean of the Winston Churchill quote, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." In the spirit of learning, why not learn about you in the midst of this crisis? At the beginning of this speech, I was focused on designing and planning the project of you. One activity I would like to offer, which I also share in my class, is a way to learn more about you through a visualization activity called Future Day Fantasy. I offer this visualization activity in my, like I said, in my class, as well as during the school sustainability camp for incoming undergraduate students. I don't have enough time to go through this activity tonight, so I'm sharing the link for you to run through on your own time. The main idea behind this 10-minute activity is for you to run through your perfect working day 10 years into the future. You might be surprised by what you visualize during the exercise. In some cases, it helps participants learn more about themselves. Last but not least, your role is to execute. No action is action. So take the good that you're experiencing during this time and think about how you can prioritize that now as well as into post-COVID-19. As I explained earlier about my own self-care system, I start out each day writing 10 dreams I made happen. One of them included, I'm a keynote speaker. So this is not exactly how I visualized my keynote. However, this dream still came true. And now it's time for me to design, plan, and execute a new dream to my project list. I hope you accept the role to do the same while you seize this day. Please be sure to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I am very grateful for this experience. I'll make sure to include that in my journal, and thank you.
Thank you, Marsha. That was awesome. If anyone has any questions, feel free now to type those in the comments and we can go through those. Thank you again, Marsha. That was awesome.
Awesome. So like Kyle said, go ahead and type in your questions. We will be answering almost all the questions that you guys have. We love that participation, especially doing a virtual showcase like this. We are trying to get as much connection as we can, which would be amazing if we got some questions from you guys. So without further ado, we are going to start off with our Solutioneer presentations. So we are going to start off with our Solar United Neighbors Solutioneer team.
All right, guys, thanks for showing up tonight. I know this is a little bit different than how it's usually ran, but I think this is a really cool opportunity for us to flex new skills and learn some new things about how to communicate. So I'm Spencer Carrillo. I'm the project lead for the Solar United Neighbors project. I'm a senior sustainability student. And what I've been doing to get through this quarantine is family game night every Friday night.
Hi everyone, my name is Leandro Bertoli Romelli. I am a sophomore in supply chain and sustainability like many others here. And what's been getting me through quarantine is FaceTime calls with friends, like every night.
Hi everyone, my name is Joseph Weeks. I am a senior in the Bachelor's of Science and Sustainability program, also going for a certificate in energy. And what's been keeping me sane during all of this is exercising daily by doing flow arts.
Hey guys, my name's Jacob Danzer. I'm a major in computer science, and one thing that's keeping me through the quarantine is keeping busy, staying at work, working on projects, you know, anything to get something done.
My name's Ashley. I'm a junior studying marketing, minoring in sustainability. And what's getting me through this time is facing my family every Sunday night for family dinner.
All right. Yeah, Josh, go ahead. I skipped a little early there.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know. Hi, everybody. My name's Joshua. I'm a junior sustainability major. And what's been getting me through this is a lot of self-care. So it's giving me time to focus on myself a little bit, which hasn't been too bad.
Right on. All right, so we'll jump right into this. This semester we worked with Solar United Neighbors. They are a 501c3 looking to get more solar into cities. So they set up solar co-ops, and then they work to produce non-biased information for energy policy that is going on in that area that they're set up in. They were founded in 2007 out in Washington, D.C. when the executive director, Anya Schoolman's son, and his friend had seen the documentary An Inconvenient Truth. And those two came running back to the parents, and they were screaming that they needed to do something about this problem that they learned about, and they wanted to go solar. And as Anya looked into this, she realized that there's a lot of hurdles that needed to be overcome. It was expensive. There's a lot of logistics to go through. Zoning things to work through, and it was just a difficult process to go alone. So at that point, she reached out to some of her neighbors to see if they were interested in going solar, and they were. So at the end of this kind of reach out period, they gained about 45 people to start the very first solar co-op, and from that point, it just spread. By 2009, they were in 4 states, and in 2020, they were in 12, including Arizona. And so the first project was out in the East Valley, led by Brett Van Jaw. He is the director, the program director for Solar United Neighbors, and he's been a great guy to work with. All right. So our partnership here with GreenLight and Solar United Neighbors kind of developed after the first co-op there in the East Valley. We kind of agreed to collaborate, and that kind of framed our project. We helped host an information session, and we helped market this information session. So we learned a lot about the co-op procedures and the benefits, and how hopefully they can expand their co-ops to more of the Phoenix metro area.
All right, so this slide just basically shows our clear vision and mission. So the vision was that our project team would be able to successfully educate and sign up homeowners in the Phoenix metro area for the Solar United Co-op. And our mission was that we would be able to market that info session and successfully pull through and promote it. And we did that info session on the 24th of this year in March. So this just shows our objectives and key performance indicators. We had 3 different objectives. The first one was to complete our marketing initiative. We had 1 tabling event. We gave out 300 flyers. We had 15 social media posts, 100 contacts established, 50 RSVPs, and we made 4 marketing content visuals for our social media posts that we gave out. Our second objective consisted of us preparing for the information session, which was all of our team basically just getting together and making sure that we were well versed in the information so that we could successfully hold that info session. And we had 2 rehearsals for that. Third objective was to follow up with attendees, establish key follow-up questions, and provide next steps for anyone that was interested.
All right, so by now I'm sure the fair majority of you already know what SDGs are, but just in case you don't, they are Sustainable Development Goals. There's 17 of them, and they are goals that were adopted by the United Nations, and they were a call to power to protect and end prosperity, as well as improve the education, or not the education, but the way we live life and just have a better quality. So we had 4 that we really had a clear, strong connection with in comparison with Solar United Neighbors. The first one that we had was quality education. Here with Solar United Neighbors, we learned a lot as students, increasing our quality of education for one, and not only just with a partnership with the students, but being with Solar United Neighbors, they give unbiased information to the public that they deserve to have, quite frankly. And rather than going through all the loopholes of all these different companies that are trying to scam you for the best deal, Solar United Neighbors will give it to you straight. And they do a great job of actually increasing how long the education, or how good your education on the system is. The other one that we focused on was affordable and clean energy. Obviously, dealing with solar energy, it is a lot more clean version of what most of us currently use, creating less pollution in the air and a great, more economically friendly system. And being that we partnered with Solar United Neighbors and joining a group of individuals to join and switch over to solar together actually makes solar energy switch a lot cheaper. And that was really the main goal that we had going into this. And it becomes a lot more affordable and clean for the environment. Next, we had sustainable cities and communities. So here we had cities with our project, cities adopting and implementing policies towards resource efficiency. So with Solar United Neighbors, we would actually, spreading the word causes the communities to gain more knowledge about this information, and then we're spreading awareness. And overall, our goal is to have these people switch over so that the more and more people do, the more and more economically friendly our communities are, which is just a great bridgeway into number 13, which is the climate action SDG, which is just an overall increase in education. We are awareness raising, and we have a capacity on climate change, which really reduces the impact that we're doing on the environmental scale.
So now we thought it would be important to talk about our process pre and post COVID-19, as it did have to switch a lot based on the way we were doing our marketing. So pre-COVID-19, our process was basically, after establishing our objectives and the SDGs that were just spoken about, the project focused heavily on how to get the word out in our community and to our target audiences about this info session. So before COVID-19, this was done through targeting community spaces in our area that we thought would be bringing in like-minded people to around that area. So this brought us places like farmers markets and this thing called First Friday in downtown Phoenix, which is an amazing festival. I'm not sure if anyone's been, but this brought us to a place like that, and there we were able to hand out flyers, talk to people, really connect with people face to face, and it really helped us get the word out about our info session. So post COVID-19, obviously we weren't able to do this anymore, so we made the transition to social media, and we found ourselves making posts, sending out emails, and talking to people through our channels and texting, things like that, and spreading the word out about our information session, which we now had switched to Zoom.
So once we switched online, this is kind of an example, or the last slide was an example of kind of the immediate marketing that we did for mobile devices, such as on Instagram. So we were posting on our personal accounts. This content is kind of an example of the content of the marketing that we did on platforms on desktops such as Facebook and LinkedIn. We did a lot of sharing it to groups within our own personal network and on events, mainly focusing on groups and events which were related to sustainability, environmentalism, or renewable energy for residential use in some kind of way. And we really felt like this was kind of, this content exemplified the culmination of our vision, mission, and key steps while we were working with Solar United Neighbors, as we had to actually create some of this content for the online marketing, as they mainly had focused on in-person marketing. So when we went to go market online after the transition, we found that a lot of their that they didn't have as much content for online use. However, within the time with our involvement with Sun, 5 people with Solar United Neighbors, 5 people had joined the cohort. So this online marketing, these online marketing efforts were a success. And this is the general process of the business as a whole at Solar United Neighbors. Throughout the time we were helping them to develop, to be more sustainable and reach more communities, we mainly focused on the first and second portions of this process. And again, this is just an example of some of the mobile marketing content that we had created for this.
So we learned a lot during our time with Solar United Neighbors. We learned about their process as a nonprofit, really grassroots movement that tries to provide unbiased information to people making decisions to go solar. And we also learned about residential solar itself, you know, about the installation, a little bit about the science behind it, and we're all kind of pretty basically versed in solar power. But probably more importantly was our way to adapt. And as sustainability students, one thing that we learn a lot really in all our classes is resilience. And to build a more sustainable future, we need that resilience and our ability to adapt to COVID. And as if you heard people before me present, the way we had to transition online, we were able to do it, and we did it well with Brett's help. Through that, we did find that there are more potential opportunities to reach people online. So that being said, that is one recommendation that we can make to Sun, that there is a lot of people yet to be reached out online. And you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. More importantly, you can find them at their website at solarunitedneighbors.org/Arizona. And you can do a lot of things there. You can donate, you can find out about the next co-ops, you can volunteer, you can actually learn about solar if you're interested. Like we said, there's a lot of unbiased information there. We don't have dates yet for the next because of COVID, but it will be up soon. So there will be more co-ops coming up in the Phoenix area pretty soon. Just check in with solarunitedneighbors.org. Thank you.
Awesome job, you guys. Well done. So now we're gonna do a quick 10-minute Q&A session. So the first question we have here is, what kind of marketing seemed to be the most effective to get people interested?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that first one. So I think the most effective marketing that we had was either done through some of our channels through like LinkedIn with GreenLight or Solar United Neighbors or Instagram. Those kind of got the most engagement and they got the word out pretty well.
Cool. So the next question is, what were some of the major objections or issues that people had with going solar on their home?
I'll take this one. So from what I found, most people who we interacted with either in person or online were kind of skeptical about their ability to convince their neighbors to want to join together to get cheaper prices on solar. Many of them just didn't think that they could properly convince their neighbors to do something like that with them. However,
sorry, go ahead.
However, we were able to convince some to talk to their neighbors, and after they talked to their neighbors, they seemed to be a bit more on board with it.
I was just going to add that people definitely have like a preconceived notion that solar is just ridiculously expensive and it's unattainable and like you can't have it unless so and so and so. But I mean, that's basically what Solar United does. It breaks down a lot of those misconceptions about solar. Like what they're doing is making it more attainable and making it more affordable for people. So like, once that's explained to people, I think it's more aware that it's actually possible for people to do.
Cool. The next question is, what was your guys' most successful post, and did you guys try to do different design styles with your posts?
Ashley, go ahead and take these. She was the design artist on most of these, and she did a great job. So,
could you repeat that question, Kyle?
Yeah, no problem. So the question was, what was your most successful post, and did you try any different styles?
We had a few different designs that we were using, and they were basically all adapted for the platform that they were used on. So, I mean, like Spencer had mentioned, like Instagram was definitely like a good way to like get attention and
she might have cut off there, but yeah, Instagram and LinkedIn were some of the more successful posts that we made.
But
so we'll move on to the next question. So a big question is that does Solar United Neighbors do anything to work around the high utility fees?
So not directly. So as we mentioned, they are a non-biased source of information for policies regarding energy in the areas that they work in. So in effect, they do by teaching people what politicians and what policies are laid out by who. And so they kind of, and that shapes the utility fee kind of landscape. So in effect, by giving people better education about what's being presented to them, they do, but not directly, because they do have to remain unbiased and unbiased, so they can maintain some of the statuses that they hold with their nonprofit.
Sweet. The next
Hey,
question
this is Brett with Solar United Neighbors. I just wanted to jump in there because we do advocacy work at the Corporation Commission and at Salt River Project. So we don't get involved with elections, but we definitely do take positions on policy, which includes net metering policy and utility rate policy. And just while I have the floor, I really want to say thanks to this whole group. This was an awesome project, and I'm really looking forward to working with you guys in the future. So thanks again.
Thank you so much for not only joining us, Brett, but for letting us create that connection with you guys.
Cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Brett. Next question is, did you experience any difficulty explaining export rate versus net metering to AZ ratepayers?
I could go ahead and answer that question.
Go ahead.
So it was kind of difficult to teach that to some of the people who were interested, just because net metering is a strange concept to some people, like putting energy that you've already generated back into the grid and selling it back to the utilities. However, after breaking it down for people, we were able to describe it quite well. Usually using kind of like visuals that were on some of the marketing material from Solar United Neighbors helped a lot.
So the next question is, did you find the general feedback from people to be positive when introducing people to the idea of solar co-ops?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Yeah, we did. I think there's, with anything, there's misconceptions. And with solar, that's certainly the case. I mean, or not misconceptions, so to speak, but there's ideas that are placed into people's head. And so one of those things, like we talked about, are the barriers to entry. And so what the co-op process does is really help people take these barriers away and kind of get together with a community of people. So I think when we talked about it in that framing, they were really receptive to it.
Sweet. The next question is, what is the most valuable thing you learned through the pandemic process with your project?
Well, one of the most valuable things that I personally have learned is with the whole pandemic, there's a lot of change, and it could have been very easy to just say, oh, well, there's not much we can do. We're stuck inside. We can't leave. There's no way to promote this. But when you're with a group of dedicated people and that you all share the same vision and you're all really actually dedicated to doing the work, that there's always a way to do it. And you just need to learn to be adaptable and change with the change, because then there's no way to survive in anywhere.
Cool. So I'm going to kind of combine the next two questions because they're kind of similar. So the first part of the question is, how did working with Sun change your perspective on solar, and what did you learn from working with them? And the follow-up to that is this something that you'd use in your own life, in your own home?
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'll take this one. Working with Sun really showed me that this is still an uphill battle. I mean, somebody mentioned net metering earlier in one of the questions, and learning about that and learning about the policies and the different powers at play, trying to kind of flex their muscle on what should be accepted and what shouldn't. And so solar is still very much a grassroots movement, and doing it through a co-op just seems almost like the right way to do it. Like getting with your neighbors, going door to door, saying, hey, join me, let's team up, let's take them down, let's kind of put it into our own hands. And so that's the thing I learned the most from Sun. And what was the other question, Kyle?
Yeah, I kind of combined the two questions. So the last part is this something you'd use in your own life or on your own home?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, especially doing it through a co-op, you do save money, and it's not as expensive or as difficult as people like to think.
Awesome. So we probably have time for one more question. So the question is there a formula to calculate my potential savings as a homeowner from switching to solar?
I'm going to go ahead and call on the audience. Brett, if you want to come back in and help this one out, this one's a little bit above me. I think there definitely is a way to calculate that, but I don't believe we would be the best people to ask that.
Yeah, I think, thanks. The short answer is it depends, and it's very individualized because it depends on how much energy you're using, when you're using it, which utility that you have. And one of the things that we provide as an independent nonprofit, because we're not trying to sell you solar, is we can help to look at some of that stuff for you. So I'll put my information in here, and feel free to reach out, and would be happy to chat.
Yeah, we'll also be releasing a little agenda at the when we release this recording on our social media, we'll release a little agenda that goes with it, and we'll put all of Brett's information in there, all of our project partners' information. So if anyone is interested in connecting with any of our projects or project partners or Solutioneers or anyone a little bit more, please feel free to utilize that, because everyone's here to really network and connect and get to know each other. Awesome, so we're gonna introduce our next Solutioneer team, who is Valley Metro.
Hi everybody, my name is Mia Zarnecki as our project lead for the Valley Metro team. I'm currently a junior. I'm majoring in sustainability as well as Spanish. And I've been keeping sane during quarantine by going on walks with my family.
Hi everyone, I'm Satara Gibbon, and I am a sophomore here at the School of Sustainability. During quarantine, I have been practicing yoga and trying to be outdoors as much as possible.
Hi everyone, my name is Noah Pozewski. I am a junior studying sustainability at ASU, and I have been getting through quarantine mostly by riding my bike.
Hi everyone, I'm Sydney Millerwise. I'm a sophomore studying sustainability and minoring in biological sciences, and I've been getting through this quarantine by spending a lot of quality time with my family.
So our project partner for this was Mackenzie McGuffey, who's actually here tonight. So shout out to Mackenzie for coming, thank you. She's the sustainability coordinator at Valley Metro. And she was an amazing person to work with because she's actually a GreenLight alum. So she has a really awesome perspective of the operations at Valley Metro, as well as sustainability and how GreenLight works. So she was amazing to work with. And working with Valley Metro, when you think of the light rail or public transportation facilities in the Phoenix area, that's the kind of company we worked with. We worked on the light rail specifically.
So Valley Metro reached out to us for assistance gathering reliable research to demonstrate the importance of shade in the Phoenix metro area. So the challenge we faced with this project was understanding the climate impacts of transit or on transit ridership in Phoenix, evaluating and understanding the changing climate in Arizona, and especially in the coming years, as well as looking at how the built environment impacts thermal comfort.
So what our solution looked like is we wanted to develop a written report that kind of had a couple key pillars. The first one is to show the connection between shade and ridership in the Phoenix metro area. And the second is doing a climate analysis, kind of getting a firm understanding of where we have been in previous temperatures and what future projections are going to look like. And then to kind of prepare findings for the future work with Valley Metro in the space of shade and ridership.
So our vision was to create a 2 to 3 page report on all the research that we did related to heat and ridership. We also evaluated future projections of temperature and climate in Arizona.
So our mission to carry out our vision was to conduct research that demonstrates how shade structures either increase or decrease ridership on the light rail and understand the best future climate projections in Arizona. And we brought this together by synthesizing the data of specific research articles, so that way we could back up our claim about the effects on ridership and provide tangible evidence that our report offers solutions to our challenge.
So to accomplish this vision and mission, we set objectives for ourselves and key performance indicators to be able to track those. Our first objective was to synthesize our research and understand the importance of shade. And to do that, we wanted to find a minimum of 4 sources that assessed thermal comfort and ridership and shading.
Our second objective was comparing climate from the opening of the light rail stations in 2008 to current weather conditions, and then future projections as well. So the way our key performance indicator for this objective was looking at 3 sources to track climate change in Phoenix over a given time. And this was done by looking at a variety of sources, from local news all the way to NOAA. So using federal resources and local resources to gain the best understanding we could of future climate projections in Arizona.
And as we worked on these 2 objectives, to gather results, we created a survey and a report.
So as we were synthesizing the report, essentially what we were doing is conducting a literature review of a lot of really peer-reviewed and reputable sources, and I think Noah will speak really well to the first point.
Yeah, so the first part of our report was establishing a connection between thermal comfort and ridership. And this was done by looking at two different types of reports. So the first reports were conducted all in the Phoenix metro area and analyzing the effects of shade on ambient and surface temperatures. So ambient being the temperature of the air surrounding you, and surface temperatures being the temperature of the surface in which the sun is shining. And then we also looked at different surveys that analyzed people's thermal comfort in shaded and unshaded areas. And then when I mention thermal comfort, that's just somebody's satisfaction with the heat in the current area they're in. So while we do find it pertinent to point out that while this research did back up our claim that there is an effect between heat on ridership, we want to note that this does not prove causation. So just because we found all this evidence, it does not mean that there being a lack of ridership or a lack of shade rather, will decrease ridership on the Valley Metro.
Kind of the second part of that report was doing that weather analysis, and we kind of used a couple different layers to figure out general trends. The first being we looked at National Weather Service data between 1950 and current projections, and then did a statistical analysis establishing a general trend toward that temperature in Arizona heating up. Then we kind of layered that with the International Panel on Climate Change's projections, which a number of different studies have looked at the impact of that on energy bills, to water usage, to just city structure. And then we also, after seeing this gradual increase in temperature, realized that the heat in Arizona would continue increasing because of the urban heat island effect, being that the different materials we use in the built environment, like Noah was just saying, retain heat for a lot longer. So it raises all around the temperature. And then that is going to be even further compounded as the population in Arizona grows and we continue building and developing and increasing urban sprawl. So the report, all in all, just established what information there is out there and is kind of serving as a baseline for the way to do future research and continue future development in the space of shade in public transportation.
So the survey, in order to adapt to COVID-19, we created an online survey. So far, we have 17 responses, and we shared our survey on social media platforms with friends and colleagues. We asked participants what light rail station they most commonly used, and we also asked them if they wanted to see any additions to shading at the stations, if the heat ever stops them from taking the light rail, and any additional comments. So as you can see from the graphs that we made, most of our responses said that yes, they want to see improved shading at their light rail stations. We also asked them down here at the second graph is if he ever stops them from taking the light rail. And we got a few answers that said absolutely, mostly were never, but also sometimes.
In doing this project, we also recognize that we work within greater global sustainability goals, and so we wanted to connect these back to the SDGs. We identified 3 key sustainable development goals that we felt really connected to our project. The first one was number 9, in industry, innovation, and infrastructure. One of the targets for this goal identifies equitable access to infrastructure as something that should be developed. And we believe that part of this is shading and making these light rail stations, making public transportation accessible to people no matter the time of year or the climate. As well as goal number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Convenient access to public transportation is key, and this also ties back into climate. Making sure that people can access the light rail no matter the time of year is essential. And as far as climate action, goal number 13, adapting to climate change, we believe that creating shading structures and creating a resilient public transportation system is key in adapting to future climate.
So how can you help and how you can be involved? Complete our survey, and this QR code here links you to that survey. It'll be shown later, and ride public transit.
So kind of in summation here, the outcome of all of our work was to establish this climate impact report, serving as a baseline for future work that Valley Metro is planning on doing, as well as the start of this Google Form data, analyzing different ridership information around shade. And kind of for future steps with this project, Valley Metro has received the Healthy Urban Environments, or the HUE grant, which is going to continue allowing them to do research in this space. We are going to continue serving light rail riders and establishing what kind of things they want to see at those stops, and analyzing what shading options are going to be ideal for various stops around Valley Metro's different lines. So with that, we would love to take any questions you may have.
If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat below. But we're going to start with the first one listed. Are there sufficient resources and studies out there to research this, or do you feel that there should be more?
Yeah, I can answer this one. So actually, I think what we found was there was a surprising amount of resources, especially resources and reports specific to the Phoenix area on the subject of shade and thermal comfort. However, none were truly like specific to public transit in the Valley Metro. But we did find the information to be really interesting. One report analyzed using either urban forestry or photovoltaic canopies, which is essentially a metal canopy with solar panels on the top, and analyzing how if one or the other was better or acted as a better shade. And the report actually found that the PV canopies had higher thermal storage, which means that they absorbed more of the heat coming in than urban forestry. So while there are a lot of resources out and studies to research this, in terms of the shade aspect and the effects of shade on ambient and surface temperatures, there were none that were entirely specific to public transport.
Cool. Next question is what social media platforms did you primarily focus on?
We used Facebook and we also used Instagram. Those were our two major ones. We got a lot of responses after we posted it on Instagram, but we also shared it with classmates and also like friends that we knew that ride the light rail.
Yeah, generally this one was kind of interesting just because the social media platforms like our group was more privy to tend to be younger demographics, which may not exactly be who you're looking at when you're looking at the light rail. So we tried to get around that by using other resources as well.
Yeah, our main goal was to actually physically go out to the light rail stations. We just weren't able to do that as COVID-19 picked up.
So next question is did the survey take into account people who rely on the light rail as their primary means of transportation?
But this is something, if we had been able to go to the stops more, we would have wanted to interact with people and ask them. But since we just had this, this form as our way of adapting to this current situations, we really just tried to keep it very open-ended. So we asked people what their primary stop was, but we really don't know whether or not these are people's only method of transportation, or they use this as something optional.
The next question is kind of more of a statistical question, but the question is, what do you think would be needed to identify causation, or do you think that is not possible?
I mean, I definitely think identifying causation would be possible. To really get the cause, obviously, we can look at plenty of reports and establish that there is a correlation. I mean, generally people tend to think it's fairly obvious. If it's hot outside and you're going to be more comfortable in a shaded area, but at the same time, to make very expensive investments in local infrastructure, you can't just go off of opinions or, I think this way. So I definitely think it would be possible to identify causation. I think it would take a rigorous examination and kind of study of all the different light rail stops and kind of set up criteria for certain stops that are, very in need of shade, some stops that aren't doing terribly, and some stops that have adequate shade. So yes, I do think it would be possible to identify causation. I just think it would require rigorous kind of in-person studying of the stations themselves.
Right, and I think what that might look like is first establishing interview data and then doing, like you were saying, kind of a case-by-case, not only study, but also showing a change in the shade along the walk path or the walk shed up to each of the stops, and then looking at how measurable that difference is in ridership at each given stop.
Cool. So this kind of leads into the next question. The next question is, did you guys actually go down to the light rail and specifically ask people who ride it for their thoughts about shade and ridership?
So that was initially our goal, but since, we started the social distancing towards the second half of the semester, that became, less and less of a possibility and less safe eventually to do. So we decided to go with this Google form instead, but our goal was initially to go and ask people in person, and we hope that in the future that's still a possibility.
I guess this is even a further follow-up question, but are you planning to continue with this project in the future beyond the survey to be able to do the in-person aspect?
I think several members of our team are extremely interested in continuing on working with Valley Metro throughout this different process as they work with you.
So the next question is, do you think the usage of the light rail would increase in the wintertime?
Yes, I definitely, one thing we kind of were analyzing with the use of the light rail, and partially it was because us being ASU students in Tempe, a lot of the times we tend to look at the student demographics, which means in the summer, during summer break, and in the winter during winter break, you can see drops in ridership, and that is generally your student demographic. It's kind of hard to say because that was another aspect sort of the project, was looking at if there's a decrease in ridership in the summer, is it a result of the summer heat, or is it just a result of less people? People may not be working in the summer, people may have other means of travel in the summer. So I can't really, I don't want to speak on necessarily if I believe light rail use would increase in the winter. We were more analyzing the weather aspects, less so the seasonal aspects of the light rail usage.
So we have time for about one more question. If I didn't get to your question, no need to worry. We're going to do breakout rooms later on where we can answer more questions. But you're also more than welcome to ask your questions on the Facebook page and LinkedIn as well. So the last question is actually an idea. Do you think it would be effective to slap stickers / magnets of the QR code all over the light rail to collect survey data?
I think that's a great idea. We were trying to, get this out as much as we could on social media, but I think one of the best things, like you mentioned, is to go to the places where people are getting on the light rail, because they're going to see that as they're going there. It's the perfect demographic.
We actually did think of that at first, but again, as the COVID-19 situation increased, we decided not to.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. You guys did incredible. So next we're going to introduce our next Solutioneer team, who is with Tiny House Developers.
Hi, so I'm Jessie Bestreas. I'm the project lead for the Tiny House Developers team. I'm a senior majoring in sustainability and minoring in business. And to keep myself busy during the quarantine, I've been playing with my cat and making him an Instagram.
I'm Rachel Antidormi. I'm a sophomore majoring in sustainability, and something that is keeping me going through the quarantine is definitely home workouts.
Hi, my name is Andrea Castro. I'm a freshman studying sustainability with a minor in Spanish, and something I love doing during quarantine is weekend hikes with my family.
Hi, my name is Iona Isaacson. I'm a sophomore studying conservation biology and ecology with a minor in sustainability. I'm getting through quarantine by working out and cooking a lot.
Hi there, I'm Megan Marshall. I'm a junior studying sustainability with a focus in food systems. And during quarantine, I've been baking a lot of banana bread and playing the ukulele a whole bunch.
My name is Kate Steelmaker. I am a graduate student studying sustainable tourism. I'm staying busy during quarantine by roller skating. I just got a new pair of skates. I'm getting back into that, and doing yoga.
Okay, so this semester we partnered with Tiny House Developers, which is a nonprofit design and construction company, and they work to provide sustainable and affordable housing for all. So they are partnered with an organization called Build Us Hope. It stands for Housing Opportunities Provided for Everyone. And so they just create housing opportunities for people who may be struggling, for example, veterans or homeless people. and then I'll talk about our project partners. So we had two this semester, Ben Strauss and Sage Hansen. Ben works for sales management and Sage works for procurement management. And they were really great this semester. They helped us out so much. We got to tour the facility and they helped us align our goals together. And it was really great because they kept in touch with us so good. And then they were actually both Solutioneers and they were both project leads as well. So then Iona is going to talk more about why we worked with them.
All right, so tiny house developers reached out to us because they noticed a need for a recycle and reuse system in their facility to reduce their construction waste. So when we started working with them, our project partner walked us through the facility and pointed out the specific construction materials that they needed help with, including wood, drywall, pallets, screws, among other things. And they also let us know that they needed help with establishing a basic recycling bin at their facility. And on top of waste mitigation, they also wanted to increase their community outreach in the Phoenix area. So they called on us to help them develop these connections.
And to address these challenges, both tiny house developers and GreenLight Solutions, we created a plan to implement a recycling program within their main facility while also creating volunteer and internship programs. And to execute that, we were able to connect the company with recycling partners around the Phoenix area, providing a network for future internship opportunities and creating outreach opportunities to let tiny house developers grow.
So for our solutions, we created waste diversion streams of miscellaneous building materials that were being collected at tiny house developers, such as metal, plumbing, wood pallets. This consists of local recycling partners, such as Stardust or Waste Management, and that's who we got our recycling dumpster for the facility. We also help facilitate scholarships for students interested in an internship with tiny house developers. And we utilize the untapped potential with different organizations in the community through engagement and networking at local events.
So ultimately, we decided on 2 objectives to work on for this project. The first objective was to establish recycling practices within the facility. After reviewing the list of materials that tiny house developers had to recycle, we decided that 40% of them being diverted from the landfill was a realistic goal. To do this, we started by providing information to the tiny house developers on purchasing a recycling dumpster through Waste Management. So this took care of the basic items like paper, plastic, and cardboard. For the miscellaneous items like the business card holders and the buckets, we had to come up with a more creative solution. So we decided to create recycling partnerships and donation networks by reaching out to local companies like Recycled City and Stardust. Finally, we decided that we wanted to provide education for the tiny house employees on how to recycle all of these items. We found a guide from the city of Phoenix on what items are allowed to be recycled in the dumpster. And then one of our team members actually created an infographic for what to do with the miscellaneous items. Our second objective was to assist in company growth. After all of the coronavirus chaos is over, the tiny house developers would like to hire some interns. So our goal was to find them 3 scholarship opportunities. This would provide them with some financial aid while they help out with the company. We also wanted to find 3 organizations for the tiny house developers to connect with to help expand their support system. So we looked at organizations with similar missions and goals, like sustainable building organizations, and then ones that help veterans. And then lastly, we wanted to find 3 events for tiny house developers to attend. So they recently went to the Maricopa County Home and Garden Show. So we wanted to find similar events like that. At these events, they would be able to find people interested in volunteering or even people who were looking to buy a tiny home.
So overall, the team was able to go above and beyond with our results for the 2 objectives. Hold on, is this the right slide?
That's the only slide I've got.
All right, so I'm just going to talk about the results real quick. So overall, the team was able to go above and beyond with our results. For the 2 objectives, both KPIs were met, including 67% of materials diverted from landfills, and 5 partnerships were established to ensure that the waste keeps being diverted from these landfills. And some examples of these partnerships we were able to make in Phoenix include Stardust for plumbing materials, tile, siding, and roofing, AA Pallet and Lumber Co. for wood, We Buy Scrap AZ for metals, and even the ASU student government for the business card holders, and a recycling dumpster with waste management for papers, plastic, and cardboard. And for objective 2, we were able to assist company growth by finding 7 potential scholarships for future interns and 8 organizations and 3 events where they can network. We did encounter some setbacks due to the coronavirus outbreak, like communication difficulties when establishing these partnerships because of stay-at-home orders that resulted in employees not answering business calls or returning emails. Even though we had these setbacks, we were still able to accomplish more than our original KPIs, and we're really happy about that.
Awesome job, you guys. Way to do it on the fly there at the end. I think there was a malfunction with the slides there, but awesome job. You guys did an amazing job even on the fly. So we're going to go into our Q&A session real fast now. So the first question is what type of materials does Tiny House use? Do they have any plans for how to sustainably handle harmful waste like chemically treated materials?
Unfortunately, one of the problems we ran into was figuring out exactly what kind of material we are dealing with because we weren't able to visit the facility often. And so what I found was most materials that were contaminated were not able to be recycled. An example includes like buckets was one of the materials they wanted to be reused, but because it had paint in it, for example, it could not be recycled. So that's one conundrum we ran into.
So the next question is, have you considered helping create a virtual internship opportunity so Tiny House can grow even during the pandemic?
Right now, Tiny House Developers is actually closed due to the pandemic. So that's why we kind of put the whole internship search on pause.
So our next question is, do you think these waste diversion methods are transferable to many other organizations? And the second part to that question is there a handbook or something that could be used by others?
So we actually did make flyers to use at the Tiny House Developers facility, and it tells you like where to put some of those where to donate some of those miscellaneous materials like wood or metal or plumbing. Ironically, Stardust actually takes a lot of that stuff, and that is something that could be transferable to different organizations using the same material.
We also originally had considered creating a handbook, but based on the time constraints, we weren't able to do that. But if we were to continue this project, that would be one of the things we wanted to get done.
Awesome job. If there are any, there is another question. Sorry. Do you think it would be possible to do lean off of plastic usage in general in their business?
I think that's a question for Sage, who I think is here with us now, if you would like to contribute.
I am, yes. Possible to lean off of plastic usage in general in their business. That would be difficult because, well, plastic is used in everything. It's used in the packaging that a lot of the wood comes in on pallets. A lot of the materials that we use in building the homes, they are also built with plastic. perhaps in the future, it's something that we could look at, maybe finding other suppliers that are looking at only using either reusable packaging or are producing without plastic. Maybe another option would be looking at suppliers that will have a circular, a closed loop, where they will take back plastic at the end of the life cycle and make new products with it. So it is possible in the future, but that's something that we need to do more research on, and possibly a couple of GreenLight projects.
Very cool. So the next question is do you think there could be a network of people who have land that they'd like to rent out?
Network of people. I don't really understand the question.
I think this is Elizabeth. This is from the tiny house developers as well. We are trying to put together a network of people that would rent out their land. We actually just started this week asking people. We wanted to wait until we were finished launching our new website to see if we could find certain lands that meet certain zoning codes that we could be able to build either multiple homes or one home, and not build, just allow for people with tiny homes who would like to stay there, be able to multiply that space. And then, put in some gray water systems, it's figuring out how we can make it less cumbersome for the owner, at the same time allow for the tiny homes to use up the space that particularly wouldn't be used in other ways. So we are working on our website to have a space with our realtors to offer people to offer their land while people are looking for places to put them as well.
Awesome. So we're running out of time for this Q&A session, so I apologize if I didn't get to everyone's questions. Again, we'll have breakout rooms later on where you can message in the chat, but you can also message your questions on Facebook as well as through LinkedIn. But awesome job, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then last but not least is our Stardust Building Supplies group.
Hi everyone, we are Stardust Building Supplies team. My name's Sam. I'm a junior at ASU. I'm majoring in supply chain management and business sustainability. And to get through the quarantine, I've been growing my mustache.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm a sophomore. I'm majoring in business sustainability and I'm minoring in Chinese. And something fun I've been doing during the quarantine is using Zoom to catch up with some friends from high school.
I am a sophomore this year at ASU, majoring in economics, and I have a minor in sustainability. What I've been doing during quarantine has been hanging out with my family and spending a lot of time hanging out with my cat.
Hi, my name is Sagayatri. I'm a junior here at ASU and I'm studying healthcare. And in quarantine, I've been learning recipes for my mom.
So we worked with Stardust Building Supplies over the course of the semester. So their mission is to provide quality reclaimed materials for reuse. So they take cabinets, appliances, old countertops that people don't want to use anymore for their remodel, and they take them into their warehouse and offer them up for sale so they can be put into new houses. Our main contact was Chelsea Pickett. She is the business development manager at Stardust, and she has actually a pretty decent background in sustainability. So she was able to help us throughout the project with advice and any questions we had. So Stardust challenge was that some of their appliances simply do not sell, and they just sit on the warehouse floor, incurring inventory costs and taking up space. And Stardust wanted us to analyze whether it'd be more profitable to recycle these items whole or break down the appliances and sell them off for scrap pieces, and kind of give them a cost benefit analysis to determine which would be the better option.
So in order to help Stardust, we came up with a plan. First, we needed to evaluate the materials in commonly unsold appliances. This includes understanding what valuable materials are in the appliances and approximating about how much of that material could be scrapped. And then after evaluating the materials, we could generate revenue scenarios. And then after that, we could do a cost-benefit analysis to determine whether to disassemble the appliances or scrap them home by considering the revenue scenarios in the context of additional non-monetary costs.
So then Stardust needs to make
I need to look. I don't know that there's anything on TV.
So given Stardust need to make informed decisions, we knew they would benefit from a strategic framework from which they could business practices. This would help them decide whether they should scrap appliances and to what level in order to earn a profit from unsold items, thereby reducing the company's waste stream and contributing to their mission to divert waste from landfill. All right, does this help? Can you guys hear me okay now? Is that all right? I will go on here. So our first step was to gain basic knowledge of the appliances Stardust most often sees goes to waste. To learn what value these appliances could generate from scrap, we needed to know what was in them at all. Our team gathered information to identify a majority of the materials in the appliances, so about 75%, after which we had to determine which of those materials are valuable and who would want them. We contacted various scrapyards to estimate revenue that could be gained from each respective material in the appliances. And so a majority of our work went into research and networking on behalf of Stardust. Okay. So when our research was completed, we still needed to do some analysis. Because each appliance has numerous different models that change every year, and because scrap prices change periodically and depending on which yard you sell to, we had to account for each of these discrepancies. In order to properly inform Stardust, we wanted to include details like this so they could make the best decisions possible. After getting some numbers on what Stardust could earn on each appliance, our team put together cost breakdowns for each valuable material in the appliance, along with the typical prices each scrapyard was asking for. We provided estimates based on the current sale price of these materials with inclusions of variability in the market. And here we go. So here is the deliverable we made for Stardust. We did it this semester. The decision-making framework provides the necessary details for Stardust to figure out what they should do with each appliance based on their resources and needs. So we will now go over each appliance in depth individually.
So the results for the refrigerators. In refrigerators, we found that scrappable materials included copper, steel, and aluminum. However, in addition to the normal considerations that accompany scrapping appliances, such as time to disassemble the appliance and compensation for workers, an additional problem with refrigerators is Freon. Freon is the cooling liquid that contains extremely harmful pollutants. Therefore, Freon must be removed by a certified professional. So this adds another quite large cost and makes it really unlikely that Stardust would be able to get a profit from scrapping refrigerators. However, the good news is that as of 2020, Freon is now banned in the US. So this means that less contaminants are going to be released into the environment. And in the future, it is possible that Stardust could be able to make a profit from scrapping refrigerators. And then to break down the different scenarios for generating revenue, I'll refer to our framework. We took into account the different rates at local scrapyards and the amount of material typically found in a refrigerator. What we found was that the revenue for disassembling the refrigerator, but not completely taking apart the compressor, stripping the wires, or cleaning the steel, would be between $1.87 and $12.78. And then the revenue for completely disassembling and cleaning everything would be between $3 and $14.13. However, currently Stardust makes between $6 and $15 when scrapping a fridge whole. So therefore, scrapping the fridge whole is likely the best option for Stardust.
So the second appliance we analyzed was dishwashers. They turned out to be probably the most promising appliance to take apart. The main scrappable materials were brass, copper, insulated wire, and steel. We noted that, again, with all the appliances, that revenues were maximized by keeping disassembly time to less than 30 minutes, or if disassembly is done by an unpaid volunteer. Kind of found that the disassembly process isn't terribly difficult, but it would take some training. And disassembly revenues compared to scrapping the dishwasher as a whole definitely seem most promising for these guys. So now if we take a look at the actual framework, we'll notice that a worst case scenario, we have between a $2 and $3 profit, and a best case scenario of $13 to $15. The prices have all been gotten from local scrap yards. We called them to see what the actual prices would be. Prices change very often and they constantly fluctuate, so that is a big component of variability. Also, which scrapyard they choose to go to, the employee skills, and also the storage costs all factor in here. That's why we have such a wide range for the possible revenue. But within that range, we would assume it would be a lot closer to the higher end on average than the lower end. So in conclusion, if the dishwasher could be disassembled quickly, it could generate extra revenue for Stardust.
Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so at the beginning of our process, figuring out what we wanted to do, we started out by choosing 3 different appliances. That's the refrigerators, dishwashers, and ovens. However, through our research, we found that ovens do not have much in terms of valuable materials inside them that would actually cover the cost to recover them. So it would be more economical for Stardust to scrap them whole. However, while they did not prove to generate revenue for assembly or scrap, we did find that the circuit boards from newer ovens could be removed relatively quickly and easily be sold to gain some profit. So not a total loss there.
So the goal of develop framework for increasing Stardust revenue is addressed in the objectives when my team members talk about how much profit Stardust can gain from the refrigerators, dishwashers, and ovens. The objectives build on Stardust's strong culture of innovation by finding ways to increase recycling in our community. Stardust's goals of repurposing unsold applications is affected as these objectives talk about repurposing the applications into getting as much recyclable material out of the applications as possible. The goal of partnering up with other local businesses is met when Stardust works with these other businesses to sell their recyclable material to these businesses to get the profit by money per pound.
Now we ask you to get involved. So Stardust accepts new or gently used building materials, appliances, furniture, and a lot more. They will come to you, or you can drop it off at their warehouse. They also offer deconstruction services. So it's the environmentally sound way to remove items before you remodel your kitchen or room, etc. Instead of destroying the countertops and cabinetry, they will remove it whole so that it can be repurposed and resold. You can follow Stardust at the links below on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you very much for your guys' time. Well done, you guys. So we're going to go into a quick Q&A session here. Let's pull up the first question here. Okay, so the first question is, were there certain items donated more often than others out of the ones you analyzed?
I think that they actually have a larger amount of refrigerators, but that's not something we really looked at. We were more focused on the fact that they do get all 3 appliances and have to focus on the decision of taking them apart or scrapping them.
Additionally, when we were discussing with our project partner, we did pick those 3 appliances because those were the most often in facility. I'm sure, like, you know, they would still get stuff like microwaves and toasters and things like that, but really the big concerns of theirs were those 3 appliances, which is why we focused really hard on them.
Very nice. So the next question is Stardust doing home pickup / drop-offs now, or are they paused during the quarantine?
I'm not sure. I would assume that they're paused, but if you really wanted to find out, you could probably give them a call.
So the next question is, are they open to the public warehouse, or do you need to be a construction company?
The warehouse is completely open to the public. You can just go walk around and shop there. It's really cool.
We went to visit there ourselves. It's awesome. It's like a huge open, like Home Depot like thing. It's really cool. So if you guys have the time and you want to look at new appliances or looking to get rid of your old ones, it would be really cool to check it out once this quarantine stuff is over.
Next question is, where are their current locations?
We visited the one in Mesa, but I think there's an additional one too in the Phoenix area.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't see any more questions in the chat box, so I can give another like 30 seconds or so if you have any last second questions you want to type up in the chat box. But other than that, great job, you guys.
Thanks, Kyle.
Hannah, you're muted.
All right, can you hear me now? Awesome. So thank you so much to not only that group, but to every single group that has presented. You guys did a phenomenal job. And we wanted to send out a huge thank you. GreenLight's core values are professional development, sustainability stewardship, and collaborative community leadership. And we feel that every single one of you have exhibited that here today. We wanted to thank our Solutioneers for their hard work and dedication throughout this entire semester, especially with everything going on. You guys not only completed your projects, but you stuck with it. You went above and beyond, and we are so incredibly proud of you. We wanted to thank our project partners for their support and belief in GreenLight and everything that we can do. We wanted to thank our board members for the support and commitment that they have towards creating this organization for us students. And we also wanted to thank the community for spreading the word and getting the message out there that GreenLight is here and that we can create a change in the community and do better than, you know, we're already doing. There's always room for improvement.
Okay, so like Hannah said, everyone did great. I'm really proud of you guys. You guys really knocked it out of the park. And for those of you that are still looking at more ways that you can help, there's definitely a multitude of ways that you guys can help. One of those is to attend our monthly community mixers. We talked about those a little previously. I believe those are the fourth Thursday of every month, and because of the pandemic, they will be virtual, but keep an eye out for those, and those are always a fun time. You just get together with the community and get to know each other, so it's always great. I'd encourage you guys to go out there. You can also become a member, become a monthly donor, and that QR code that you see on your screen will take you to our Give Butter page. And so whether you make a one-time donation or you become a monthly donor, all donations are tax deductible. And also, if you're not able to give any money directly, what you can also do is be a part of our Amazon Smile. Kevin touched on that a little earlier, but the way that works is you just go to smile.amazon.com, go ahead and type in GreenLight Solutions Foundation. We should be the first and only organization that comes up, and you'll know it's us because it says location Tempe, Arizona. Click on that, and then just as you do your regular shopping, a portion of your purchases goes to GreenLight. So that's at no extra charge to you. So that's always a great way to help, and I really appreciate that. And then also just spread the word. If you know anyone, any businesses in the community that could benefit from a project like the ones that you've seen today, feel free to either send them our way or let us know and we'll contact them if that's something you're more comfortable with. And also if you want to be or would like to be a mentor to some of our students or know anyone who would, same thing, feel free to guide them our way or let us know and we'll reach out to them if you're more comfortable with that. Go ahead and go to the next slide. And so thank you guys for staying till the end. And as promised, those of you who are still here will be entered in a raffle to receive some environmentally friendly goods from Green Estate, who was a local business here that designs safe, reusable, and eco-friendly products to help eliminate single-use plastics. So as you can see from the pictures, they have some reusable produce bags, some reusable lunch containers. You're all entered now. And the last thing is we'd like to take a group photo. This is our first virtual showcase, and we hope that you enjoyed this as much as we did. So we'd like to take a photo to commemorate this and cement this as a landmark for us. So if you wouldn't mind preparing and smiling for the camera.
All right, so we're gonna do this in 3 segments because there are so many participants. So I'm gonna count down 3 different times. All right, 1, 2, 3. And I'm gonna do it once more. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. And once more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thanks guys.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. So now we are going to be breaking up into our breakout rooms. This will provide more of an opportunity for you guys to network and to really get to know all of our Solutioneers a little bit better. Like we mentioned, we will be releasing all of our LinkedIns and a little agenda. We will also be releasing this recording of our showcase. So please feel free to go and view that again and message us, comment on our Facebook post. Any way that you guys want to reach out to us, we appreciate every single one of you for not only being here, but for participating, for, like we mentioned, spreading that word and really being the reason that GreenLight exists and wants to do what we do. So thank you so much.